Hi, this is John Sterling, and you're listening to the Batboy's Corner podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 7 of the Batboy's Corner podcast. I'm Billy Pinkney, coming at you from the Batboy's Corner studios in Little Falls, New Jersey. Today, we've got an interesting episode for you as former big leaguer Carter Capps comes on over the phone to talk baseball, as well as his infamous pitching delivery, which has caused lots of controversy over the years. So when we come back, we'll have former big leaguer Carter Capps on over the phone. Throughout my interviews over the years, I've always asked my interviewees what advice they would give to a younger player. I've decided to take those clips of motivational advice and turn them into Motivation Monday. Check BillyTheBatBoysCorner.com every Monday to receive brand new advice from professional athletes. Okay, we are back here on the Batboys Corner podcast with former big leaguer Carter Capps. Carter, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I appreciate it.
Now, you played 5 years in the big leagues, 2 with the Mariners, 2 with the Marlins, then 1 with the Padres. But one of the main topics I want to talk about is your unique delivery. It's probably one of the most unique and controversial pitching deliveries in MLB history. And when you first began, your big league career, you didn't have that. And so how did it exactly all begin?
Yeah, so I'm sure there's been a ton of stuff about it, but so basically just I had some elbow injuries and just felt like the velocity was like slowly decreasing. So I would try to, add more legs. I felt like that's where some of the velocity was going. And I got in this bad habit of like this triple extension of the ankle, knee, and hip socket, all just kind of going like laterally, so like towards the plate. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But then the Mariners had wanted me to be more upright thrower, like just forward trunk tilt. So as I changed that angle, I was still getting that triple extension, but the triple extension became airborne when I got traded over to the Marlins. So it kind of just all made this like perfect storm, this like really big high jump down the mound.
Right. So it ultimately started by your elbow issues. That's why.
Yeah, I was very conventional thrower before that. Had a couple partial tears in the UCL, but didn't have surgery. Just missed a little bit of time here and there from that. But it just kind of accumulated from that, just chronic workload.
Right. Did you think that would help deceive the batters by doing that?
Yes. My release point was like crazy far down the mound.
Yeah.
So that definitely affected just timing for the batters, but also it's just weird and funky, and they just don't ever see it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. Like you threw in the upper 90s, and your delivery allowed you to travel even further down the mound. And by the time you release the ball out in front, you're pretty much at the lip of the grass in front of the mound. So that ball isn't looking upper 90s to the hitter. It's looking, over 100 miles an hour to them by the time it, gets to the plate.
Yeah, they did some studies and stuff on just effective velocity, and I was like always at the top of that. So
yeah. Now, I guess it worked in 2015. Had a 1.16 ERA or something like that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Now in 2017, MLB messed around with the rules and they changed it and said your delivery is illegal. So you played that season with the Padres. So how did that affect you? Did you have to change some things?
So I was like 100% healthy. I had gotten Tommy John surgery in like spring of 2016. So like had gone through like the whole like rehab process, like expecting to throw one way. And then in spring training, they told me in 2017 spring training, I just came to the clubhouse one day and there was like, 30, 40 people in front of my locker. It's like, it's never good. That always means something. Just that you either got traded, like they found a dead body in your trunk, or like just something just bad is happening there.
Yeah.
It's like, to be sure they're here for like the guy beside me or something. No, they're just all perk up when I come out. I was like, oh crap. But then that's kind of how I found out. And they were asking me all these questions about the rule change. Like, I literally just woke up and got to the field. Like, I don't know anything about it. So then just had a bunch of different talks with my agent. And basically I was told that they weren't going to let me pitch like that. So I had to change my mechanics. So then I had to go through, like, basically I ended up in extended spring, just trying to change my mechanics kind of overnight.
Yeah, that's a player's nightmare, extended spring training, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take you then to change your delivery?
I never did. Yeah, it didn't work.
Couldn't- it
So
didn't work.
I just kept trying to change it, and eventually it kind of just ended my career because I just would get called for balks all the time. So
Right.
it just wasn't feasible to keep going.
Yeah. Now, another recently changed MLB rule is a 3-batter minimum. Since you were a reliever in the big leagues, you've seen that with Lefty Specialists coming in to face one guy or something like that. So, how do you think that's going to impact late inning games now?
I think it'd be exciting. You're going to get those, like you said, those favorable matchups for the hitter that as managers you're always trying to kind of avoid. And I think that'll be fun for the game. I think hopefully it'll help a little bit of the run production for the offense. So that'll be exciting. But then like reliever values are going to be higher because you got to have a reliever that can get out opposite-handed hitters. So I think you'll see like an influx of guys learning splitties and changeups that maybe have never thrown them. Like I would imagine like a lefty specialist is going to have, a pitch moving away from a righty. Like they're just going to have to add that to their repertoire.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be exciting. I mean, you're going to have to be able to get other guys out because they're just going to stack lineups. I mean,
Right. Now, you're currently working at Driveline Baseball, where you guys are helping players improve their game, really. And you want to just go into detail about what you guys do and work on there?
Yeah, so it's like the kind of slogan or whatever you want to call it is like data driven. So it's a lot of like the biomechanics. Like we got hard numbers. We're not like saying, oh yeah, stay back or break your hands later or something like that. It's like, no, your pelvis is 30 degrees closed. We want it 15 degrees more open. It's that kind of like hard data to say, hey, this is where you're at and this is where our really hard throwers are at. So chances are if you can move a little bit better and more like them, your velocity is going to go up. Like just kind of common sense stuff like that. So that's pretty exciting because guys come in and like old school pitching coaches a lot of times, it's not very, there's not like concrete evidence of why am I going to do this to help me. And I felt like I kind of struggled with that in my career because nobody wanted to mess with my mechanics because I threw so hard. So like I didn't know why I threw hard though. So it was hard to maintain that velocity. And I think that I'm kind of trying to bring that aspect into pitching coaching.
Yeah, it's really been dominating the whole baseball world, analytics and all that stuff. See Trevor Bauer with the, creating pitch design and stuff like that. So you guys do that too, the pitch design? It's really
we do pitch design, we do live ABs, we do like everything you imagine. Pretty much every time a guy is throwing high intent, he's throwing in front of Rapsodo. So we're getting spin numbers and we're getting, spin direction, spin efficiency, VB, HP, all kinds of stuff. And pitch design is really cool. A lot of guys, that's kind of like the new field right now. A lot of guys really interested in it. Basically, we just have a guy throw in front of a Rapsodo, so we get the metrics on the pitch, but also he's throwing in front of a Edgertronic camera. So it shoots at like 15,000 frames a second or something crazy.
Right.
But like we're actually watching the ball come off the guy's hand. So we're seeing the fingertips like interaction with the ball. Because like you'll get an athlete like that real versus feel. Like they just can't, like they feel like they're in a good spot and they feel like they're doing what we're telling them, but we'll slow it down. Like, no, the reason your changeup isn't getting that break that we want is because you're coming in contact with your, ring finger at the last second and it's making it cut, something like that.
Right. Now you just mentioned some of those terms. Be able to, maybe define a few of those, like spin efficiency, spin rate, and things like that.
Yeah, so spin efficiency basically, it's going to vary on the pitch. So like a slider spin efficiency would be like anywhere from 0 to 50% probably. So that just means it's not spinning very efficiently as far as perpendicular to the plate because it has such a high gyroscopic spin, which is like a bullet. So like a slider is like technically like the least moving pitch of all the pitches. Like sometimes they'll plot dead 0-0 on the Rapsodo chart, so that would be like a gyroscopic slider.
Right.
So that would be like how spin efficiency is kind of like that would be 0, whereas a fastball would be 100 hopefully, and it's spinning completely parallel to the plate. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. It's
yeah.
crazy.
So we want different spin efficiencies for different pitches. Like I had a guy in the facility the other day that was spinning his curveball like 89-90%, which is really high. So that's really good. But like for a curveball, we want it more spin efficient than the slider, but it's not going to be like 100% efficient like the fastball or changeup or two seam. Right. And that's just going to like translate. So when we have spin efficiency, that's going to tell us how much movement potential we have compared to the spin rate. So like if the guy has a really high spin rate but a low spin efficiency, he's not going to get as much movement as a guy with a medium spin rate and really high efficiency. Like he's going to use more of that spin, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I've seen it before with the, older generation. They're kind of reluctant to, look at these, analytics and really use them. And, you have some combos of the old school, new school guys who, take some of it. But, it's going to be interesting to see how, the future generations take, analytics, how they handle it.
Yeah, I feel like there's always been the misnomer that like the athlete can't handle that much information, like they're going to become overloaded. But that's kind of as a coach, that's kind of your responsibility to give them the amount of information that they can handle. Like I'm not going to sit there and talk about gyroscopic sliders with a guy who doesn't know what I'm talking about when I say vertical break and horizontal break. Like it's going to go way over his head. So I dial it back and we like slowly try and educate him over the course of his time there. Like we're not just going to throw all these like numbers and you day one. Like we're going to try and build you up. So like we want to have a base knowledge. So like you can ask me questions. Like I want you to ask me, why is my spin efficiency down? It's like, well, you got some trunk dump and you're coming off the fastball. Like there's where your spin efficiency went, right? Like you're yanking off.
Right.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and in about a week or so we'll have baseball back. So that's exciting. Really exciting. And so we're going to take a quick break here on the Batboys Corner podcast. Be right back. Batboy Productions is a brand new production company designed to create videos for local sports teams, businesses, and townships. Check out BillyTheBatboysCorner.com to learn more about Batboy Productions, LLC, or email Billy at BillyTheBatboysCorner.com for more details. All right, we are back here on the Batboys Corner podcast, and we just heard some interesting stuff from Carter Capps as he talked about his pitching delivery and how data is impacting the game of baseball. So with that, we're going to wrap it up here on the Batboys Corner podcast. We'd like to thank you for joining us, and stay connected with us by following us on Instagram at Billy_the_Batboys_corner, on Facebook as Billy the Batboys Corner, and on Twitter and TikTok as Billy the Batboy. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a new episode. Episode 8 will be out soon, so stay tuned. That'll do it for now, and we'll see you next time here on the Batboys Corner podcast.
Hi, this is John Sterling, and you're listening to the Batboys Corner podcast.